Hi, I'm here with Tami Foster. She is the media coordinator at Red Oak Elementary and Swift Creek Elementary Schools. I'm highlighting her this week in our newsletter because she's doing a fantastic job incorporating our LMS of Google Classroom into her Battle of the Books team. She's also using Zoom and breakout rooms with her students. So I was going to let Ms. Foster talk to us a little bit about her Google Classroom, and then we'll talk a little bit about Zoom.
Okay, all right, thanks for having me. Now, for my Battle of the Books team, just to kind of review quickly what happens, that is for 4th and 5th graders are eligible to try out for the team. And once they try out for the team, then there is a list of 15 books that we read. And as they read the books, they can take comprehension tests on the books. And then as we go through, we practice, we have practice battles, in which the students have to answer detailed questions about each book. And it's in the form of, we ask the detail and they have to answer with the title and the author of the book. So what I did was I set up a Google Classroom for Battle of the Books, and I invited all of my students and their parents to the Google Classroom. And I took video clips, kind of like a movie trailer for each book. I went to YouTube and got that, and I incorporated that into the first assignment. That way they could get a preview of all of the 15 books. And then after they did that, they had to decide what their first 2 books were. And then they let me know what their first 2 books were that they wanted to start reading. And I physically checked those out from the library at Swift Creek. And then I contacted the student and they could come to the school and pick up the books and they could start reading. And then I just put messages back and forth in Google Classroom about who wants which books, things like that. And then in my classwork, I set up a quiz, a comprehension quiz for each of the books, each of the 15 books. And of course, I didn't set a deadline or a due date on that because all of the kids are reading different books simultaneously. So, and then on my Google Classroom also, that's where I put the Zoom link. Every Thursday, I put the Zoom link and a reminder that, hey, the next day we're gonna have our Battle of the Books Zoom meeting. And here's the link, don't forget to, come. And so then on Fridays, we have our actual Zoom meeting.
I love it. It's such a wonderful way to keep the kids involved, even though they're not really at school. They're still a part of that Battle of the Books community, because I know the 4th graders who are now 5th graders were looking forward to that. Last year, they might have got their year cut a little bit short last year.
Yes, they did. We were really, really close to having the district competition, and we were so excited because we were going to really try for first place this year.
Yeah.
But it got canceled, and that's okay. They understood. We were disappointed, but everybody understood the situation, and I talked them through that. And then this year, I told them, that regardless of what happened, even if we're not in person, we're still going to have Battle of the Books, even if we have to do it through Zoom or some other format. That we're going to make it work. So everyone's super excited to know that it's really going to happen no matter what.
Yeah. And so I know we've talked a little bit about your Zoom breakout rooms here lately, but it seems to be a good way to keep the teams together in their Zoom so they can go to their different breakout rooms and answer questions. So I know that you practiced a little bit today with your kids. So how did that go? Did they like the breakout rooms? Had they experienced that before?
Okay, so I'm not sure if they've experienced a breakout room before or not, but in our Zoom sessions, I wanted to have practice battles with the kids, and I wanted to try to mimic it and make it as close to the in-person experience as possible. So when we practice in person, I split the kids into 2 teams, and each team at a table, and then I'll direct a question to one team, and they have 20 seconds to give me the correct answer, and they can talk amongst themselves. And then if they don't get it correct, then I go look at the other table and I ask them the same question, and it's called a rebound, and they have 10 seconds to answer the question. So I wanted to try to recreate that in Zoom as much as possible. So for today's session, I did breakout rooms. So I did 2 breakout rooms, and I put the kids in each room, and then I would go to one breakout room and ask the question, and they would talk amongst themselves and try to come up with the answer. And then I would leave that room and go to the other breakout room. And it worked okay, but it was a little bit cumbersome And also when I was in the other room, then the kids in the previous room didn't really have anybody with them to it was just kind of like dead air kind of thing. So I worked with Caroline today to come up with a fix for that. And I'm going to try next Friday to where I can just send one team to a room and then they can come back. And while they're gone discussing, I can still work with the other kids in the main room. So we're going to give that a shot next week and see how that works.
Yeah, because that's how teachers are, always adapting to the situation and, fixing issues as they come, because, that's how things are these days. But thank you so much for sharing with us. We really appreciate it. And I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you so much, Caroline.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.